All right, we're gonna get this party started here in just a moment. Just working out a few little technical things here. And it looks like they just dropped another patch out to the PTU. All right, let's see if we can get all our streams up so we can simulcast. All right, I like what I'm seeing so far. And make sure and hit that gear icon and select the highest source you can for your connection. And we're out on Twitch, we're out on X, and we're on YouTube tonight. So welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get the party started here. And they just dropped a new patch in the PTU tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up our there we go. That way we can get this party started. So I think for the system tonight, we're going to go ahead and go to checkmate. And everybody, welcome to AlphaInfinity Tech. We're live tonight in the verse, out in the PTU. Heck yeah. So we'll wait for the PTU to load up here. We'll get a mole configured, and I think tonight, honestly, I think we're gonna head out to Monox or Pyro 1. We'll figure it out. And let's just get a couple of controls figured out here because I really don't like it. They wipe out every single PTU patch. They wipe out everything I set up in here. So let's go back in here, make sure that what we want is okay. Okay, looks like everything is looking pretty good here. And I just want to check on one more thing on key bindings real quick. Vehicles, mining, and I want to make sure, yep, button 5. Okay, so it did not wipe out my settings. Excellent. All right, fantastic. So let's go ahead and get a Argo Mole called up here. By the way, the pink paint that I really like to run sometimes, Love Struck, I believe it's called, is still bugged out, where you get premature wear and tear on the windows. And that kind of sucks. So let's go ahead and, I think tonight we're going to go with that gray cat. Sure is cool. I'm going to go with that. And one of the nice things about these P2 patches now is that they're not totally wiping out your inventory. Because out here in Pyro, finding stuff can be kind of hard sometimes. So that's all good. So turret weapon 1, we're going to go with the Helix, of course. And we'll drop some Rigers in here. There it is. Turret slot 2, I always put my helix in here, and then we're going to go with the focus, and then we'll add a Riger to offset that. And then, of course, off the turret slot 3, we're going to drop a helix back in there. And I love how it kind of flips all this. Anyway, in sub slot 1, we're going to go with surge. 2, surge. 3, can you guess what we're going to go with? Surge. You got it. So that'll be our monster laser in case we find something really big we want to mess with tonight. And then back to propulsion, we'll go ahead and... I don't plan on jumping. Actually, I'm not even going to equip this. There's no reason to have it. I'm not going back to Stanton in a mole, so... All right. And last but not least, we need to go ahead and... I'm sure I lost all my mining modules. Yeah. That's great. So we'll put on a decent suit. Negative 61 to 91. Yeah, we'll go with... I'm not going to go full on Pembroke tonight. I think I'm just going to go with... And I'm not going with... let's choose something... Yeah, Novikov. Mainly because of the weight bearing, the load bearing of the backpack more than anything else. Yep, and all my gadgets are gone, of course. So we get to go through this again. We'll go. I lost all my Sabirs, I'm sure. Custom. All right. We'll take that as well. So we're going to have to add... There's a place down on Monarchs where we can buy all this stuff. We can buy the mining... Probably not a Bormax, but... let's go pick up a Bormax real quick. And let's... I'll call that mole up when we get back here. Off to the refinery deck we go here. And we're running in 4K HDR tonight. We're trying out the beta HDR, which I know a lot of people have been running for a long time. But I usually don't. So tonight I am. So we'll pick up a couple of Bormaxes. Actually, let's make sure we have the right destination selected here. Ascension backpack. There we go. Nice. Take 5 of those. Why not? It's just PTU money, right? Can I get a cruise lux here? No, I cannot. All right. So down to the refinery deck for those. And refinery deck. There it is. Nope. Sorry. We want the cargo deck. Not paying attention. Okay. Beautiful. There we go. Let's try again. Oh, somebody just died. And let's just make sure that we have the backpack selected, and we'll select Cruise Lux. Buy 10 of those. just in case. This patch probably isn't going to last long enough to go through those, but whatever. All right, and let me make sure that I have our gaming audio working here. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the party started here, and we'll head out to Monox. Different on every station right there. Okay. All right, back to the hangar, and let's get the party started. All right, where is our mole? Let's go ahead and get that called up. We're going to break some rocks tonight. All right, hopefully you guys are hearing game audio now, so we should be all set. Let me know in chat. So we have on board, we have some Bormaxes. We need to pick up some Sabirs. Always so dark in Pyro. And the place that we need to go, I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. Well, I'll figure it out in just a second once I get into the pilot seat, but we can buy those on Monox, which is good. I don't want to have to go all the way out. There's some other station or some other place to get them first. At least we'll be on the planet. We'll be at our destination or close to it. All right, so we need to go to Yang's place. There it is. And we'll just wait for the hangar to get open here, and then we'll get going. $100, huh? For the hangar queue? Really? Come on now. In the PTU? And let's see if we can get a better view of this paint. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful. Almost looks gold in some light. Really nice looking. But it doesn't matter if you're joining us from YouTube, X, or Twitch. Say something in chat. Let me know you're around. And welcome to AlphaInfinity Tech. We're live tonight in the verse, in the PTU. And we're just waiting. Apparently there's a hangar queue here, so we're just waiting for that. There we go. So much debris at Checkmate. Look at all that. Just a ton of stuff floating around all the time. All right. So we have our destination plugged in. We're going to head over and we're going to pick up some mining modules first. Some gadgets, sorry. And then once we do that, we'll hit one of the orbital markers, and I'm just going to pick a random spot in the daylight to go. And we'll see if we can break some big rocks tonight. I have a feeling we're going to be finding some really big ones. So I have a screenshot that I'm going to post on Discord and in the YouTube channel of a very large quantanium rock I found today, and it was a heartbreaking thing to have to leave it behind, but it was 99,000 mass on that bad boy. 99,000, and 40.92% of that was quantanium. So 229 SCUs total. Half of it was copper. 7.81% inert and 40.92. What a rock. What a rock. I mean, really. So anyway, I'll drop that on the Discord channel after I get done with the stream here. And that's one of those times when you feel like, man, I wish I had 3 other moles or 2 other moles with me, or at least 3 friends in my mole, and maybe we could have taken it. Might have been able to, but a 90,000 mass quantanium rock. You know, I do believe that's one of the first ones I found that size. So anyway, if you're just joining us tonight, welcome to AlphaInfinity Tech. We're live. We're in the verse. We're in the PTU 4.3.2. They just dropped another patch, so we had to kind of get situated here a little bit. And the mining gadgets don't seem to float from one patch to the other. So we're going to head over to Yang's place and pick up a couple of severe mining gadgets. I always got to have a couple of those on hand just in case we run into something that has a lot of resistance. And I'm going to mine in the daylight for you guys. I don't like mining in the dark. I don't think it makes, for that great of a stream, honestly. All you're seeing is an outline most of the time. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come into Yang's place here. And if you haven't been to Yang's place before, this outpost It looks like it's up here on the mountain, but it's not. It's actually down here in the flats, and you know what? Would I be totally... I mean, might as well, right? I mean, how much... It's not... It doesn't take any time to scan these things. I'm sure they're small. Not worth mining. Because somebody would have blasted these already, but... Yeah, 12,000 barrel. Anyway, this is why I don't like mining in the dark. It's just, you know... Yeah, 17K. Yeah, so we'll skip that. Okay, back to where we were going. Get out of mining mode here. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to park. Grab a couple of mining gadgets real quick. Got a little greenhouse going there. Anyway, I like Yang's place. Kind of cool, you know. And of course, we're running the RTX 5090 in HDR. Really liking the expanded color set here. Has absolutely no impact on frame rates. And of course, to do HDR, you got to have an HDR compatible monitor. And then if you have a streaming box, you have to have HDR compatibility there as well on OBS. And, you know, it's kind of a... But boy, it makes for a pretty picture. Look at that. Really nice. I could just sit here and stare at Star Citizen all day. I mean, look how beautiful the lighting effects are. Everything is just... They've really done an amazing job. But we have rocks to break, so I'm going to quit messing around here. And this terminal, I actually ran into it by accident last time. It's outside. It's actually not in a building. So I'm going to wander around aimlessly here for a minute. Negative 37 degrees Celsius. There it is. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, there they are. That's what I was looking for. So we'll just make sure. And we'll just buy 5 of them. It's PTU money. So don't freak out on me, guys. It's PTU money, right? Look at those colors, though. Look at that sky. Really nice. You know, as frustrating as Star Citizen can be sometimes, you know, sometimes I just like just checking things out, just looking at the scenery. The amount of detail. I mean, just look at the paint, you know? The scuff marks. Anyway. All right. And then, of course, the sky is amazing. Really beautiful out here. Anyway, this is Yang's place out on Monox. All right, let's go break some rocks. So we'll hit one of the outer markers and find some daylight. And for those of you who are just joining me, let me know how the stream quality is in chat, if you don't mind. I just want to make sure the sound is good. Music's not driving you crazy. And we're out on Twitch and on X. Anyway, there's a little antenna up here. That is not where you buy your stuff at Yang's place. Just an FYI. All right, let's get our shields down, pop back into orbit here. There we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Humble, what's up, my man? Bexer, what's up? Glad to have you guys back. Humble, I've taken your advice, man. I've stayed away from the belt, as they used to say in one of my favorite shows on Amazon. All right, let's find an OM. Come on, give me an outer marker. I don't care which outer marker it is. You know, in the old days, there's one right there, but it's blocked. I used to have a spreadsheet of like specific spots on different moons where I would mine, and I'd have it all pinpointed down. You know, go down to this waypoint on the planet, and then travel this direction for this number of miles. And now, you know, pretty much kind of left that all behind. There we go. We'll take that one. That one's 400 kilometers out. We'll start with that one. That's OM5. And thanks for the feedback on the stream, guys. Greatly appreciated. So I'm looking for OM1. I want to be right at the North Pole here. There's 2. There's 1 right there. Nope, that's 3. There we go. So 1 million miles out is OM1, and we're gonna go hit some daylight here. You guys might be a little surprised. Oh, we're still not as much daylight as I'd be happy with, so we're gonna hit OM6 now. And Masperia, thanks for the feedback, man. And if I pronounced your name wrong, let me know. All right. Here we go. So, when it comes to Monox, I'm not a huge fan of mining in the mountain areas. It's just personal preference. It's not that the rocks are better or worse. I prefer to be out in the flats. I don't like having to chase stuff rolling downhill on me. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the cruise control. I'm just going to point my mole someplace, and you old time miners are probably thinking, man, you're crazy. And I might be, I don't know. Gorgeous. I've hit Pyro 4 in the past. I've done Pyro 4, Pyro 1. I've hit most of the moons out here. You getting some good stuff on Pyro 4, Humble? Cool. Oh, so you've been pretty much sticking the stand for the bonuses. I gotcha. Yeah, that adds up. There's no doubt about that. All right, we'll start getting some friction in the atmosphere here in a little bit. And for those who are wondering, the reason I do this is because everybody, and I mean everybody out here, you know, likes to quantum to their destination. And so those areas just get beat up. And since the mining tables aren't available anymore, I don't know how fast stuff is refreshing, you know, on each instance or on each shard. So who knows, you know, is it every hour? Is it every day, every couple of days? Is it when they restart the instance? Who knows, right? We just don't know that. We don't have that information anymore. So what I like to do now is I like to point myself towards a random spot on the planet. Less likely to run into people there as well, less likely to get shot at, and more likely to find some bigger things. At least that's been my experience in Pyro. And I've been having pretty good luck with it, you know, been finding some pretty large rocks. And I don't know if you guys were on when I said I found a 90,000 mass rock, quantanium rock on, I think it was Monox, and it was a heartbreaker. Couldn't even, it was laughing at me. I gotta say, it was laughing at me. It was like, you can't touch me, man. And it was right. So about 4 hours is Humble, what Humble's saying. Yeah, you know, with Pyro, I'll mine on Bloom. Bloom's been pretty good. Pyro 1's been pretty good. Monox has been great. You know, it's all been pretty good. All right. Before we smack into the ground, let's get into the proper scanning mode here. Beautiful. Look at that. All right. Let's not smack into the ground today. Very nice. So many desert animals out here. They give you a lot of false pings. So we'll just head out at 320 and see what we can find. And I'm not looking for anything in particular. I mean, quantanium would be great, or Stellaron or something like that. But, you know, if we find a decent rock with gold or whatever it may be, then we'll take a crack at it. Terranite would be great. Vexilite would be great. Gold would be fine. You know, I'm not going to be picky tonight. It's all about the Kraken. So we got a 20,240 out here. Let's go see what that is. Turn off the cruise control here. And make sure we're coupled. All right. All right, let's see what we got tonight. Absolute garbage. Wow, not big at all. Okay, well. Let's see what we got out here. $19,690 for a 20,000. That was just garbage. Let's move on. Really, really liking this gray cat paint for the mole. Really liking it a lot. Don't you hate finding those big rocks, Humble Monk? I mean, don't you? That's why you gotta have a friend around for those, right? And you always find them when you don't have one with you. All right, now we're talking 48K. Not quite exactly what I was looking for, but right size. Maybe we'll find something we can pop a Sabir on tonight or a Bormax. Okay, that's a 33K Bexlite rock. Might take that one. Gold, yeah. And I'd really like to have two that are worth taking, not just one. So let's keep on looking. Sure is pretty out at Monox. There we go. Those big ones hurt me because I want to take them. You know, there's just millions in them. All right, let's see what we got here. We got a 21 and a 19, so we can be a little bit picky. Not scanning, are we? Of course. So these aren't going to scan out. All right. Well, you can just tell by looking at these. They're not going to play ball with us tonight, so. But luckily for us, there are more options out here. 17, 19, and what do we all have? We have out here at 7.1, 17. Nice. Let's head to this one first. One of the drawbacks of being in the PTU is things can go a little crazy sometimes. Looks like these might play ball. Let's find out. 25 in Laranite. Eh. 20 in Quantanium. Okay. All right. All right. Give me something else. 35 in gold. Okay, so we have a decent set here. We can work this. More Laranite. And 11. I don't think I want to waste any time on that. Okay, so 25 on Laranite. Got a little Quantanium rock here we're going to take home tonight. That's just gold. So a little 20,000K Rock. So we'll start with the gold. Might be able to just to break this one with the Helix 2 on the front here. So let's go give that a shot. Oh, you know, let me make sure I'm in the right. Okay, shields are up. Good. And not scanning out again. We're going to wait on this one a little bit. There we go. Come on now. Don't want to turn that off, that's for sure. So I had this problem in the PTU the other night where it's just not scanning out. You notice there's no charge level over here. So we got to wait on it a little bit. Come on now. Gotta love the PTU. All right. Come on. Now the wind's blowing us off a little bit. There we go. Finally. All right, let's get the party started. Got a little bit of resistance on this one. We might have to step out and pop us a beer on it. We'll see. There, but maybe not. It's going to take a little bit of time to bring that charge level up, but I think I'm going to wait it out. Yeah, it's coming up slowly. So I think we'll just wait it out. Let's see what happens here. And we're mining. And we're just running my standard mole setup here on this 35K rock. You know, 3 Ryger C3s. I have another Helix 2 on board. With 3 surge modules. In case I'm feeling really frisky, but there we go. Coming up slowly but surely. Nice and easy. No big deal. So we got an 84 SCU rock here, 46.7 gold. I have a bunch of bore maxes on board. I guess I could have popped one of those on there for the cluster modifier, but I don't know. I am gonna go pop a bore max on that quantanium rock though. After we're done with this one, we'll set down and get a bore max planted on that other one, on the quant rock. Wow, look at that beautiful gray cat paint. Really nice. Came back into the cockpit right in time here. Wow. All right. One thing about Monox is the wind will pick up sometimes and kind of blow you off the rock a little bit. All right, almost into the optimal. I'm gonna bring down the power just a little bit since it's been jumping up a little bit. But it looks like nope, it wants all 100%. So it looks like we're going to go into the overcharge just slightly, is my guess. I need to remind myself to park just a little bit closer to these things. Yeah, because look, we're getting blown off the rock here. Just a little bit at a time. 34, 35. And as we get further away, our charge level drops. That sucks. All right, let's snuggle back up. Because I'm really not going to waste something. I'm not going to waste a mining gadget on this one. And I really don't want to go pop a couple of surges on it to break it. So I'm just going to get close. And if you're just joining us tonight, welcome to AlphaInfinity Tech. We're live out in the verse in the PTU. Yeah, I blew us off center, and we're going to get real nice and snuggle up here. A little bit closer than 43. I think I'll go to 35. Actually, if I go too close, though, let's do this. Let's go to nose. Let's go to negative attitude. Okay. All right. Do a little bit different orientation on this rock, huh? All right, let's see if we can get this thing cracked and get it done. Okay. And as soon as actually, we do not want to be messing with this one. Wrong rock. We don't want that one yet. We'll save that beast for last. There we go. All right. Let's get snuggled up to that one. $21. That's a little better. All right, let's see if we can get enough energy into this thing before we get blown off the rock again. Says impossible, but we know it's not impossible. 22. We're getting, see this? It's happening again. Come on now. When that energy level, when that charge level jumps like that though, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that, gotta admit. All right, let's get into the optimal and get this thing done. Come on now. There we go. All right, let's get the power down. Don't be messing with me now. This rock's not going to go easy, but it's going to go one way or the other. One way or the other, this rock's going to break. A little overcharge. All right. That one's... Let's go climb into the Hofstad, do the sub brakes. You know, Humble, you'd think that by now they would have these desyncs kind of figured out just a little bit. It just, the crazy thing, here's the thing. I don't notice the desyncs when I'm doing the ASD missions or when I'm taking on bounties or when I'm dropping off cargo. But for some reason in mining, okay, so this is our triple surge. I put this on the opposite side I usually do, so let's head over to the Hofstede. So on the Hofstede, I'm running a Focus and a Ryger. Trying out a slightly new setup. Olamaposi 368, thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. He was giving me some feedback on Twitch. Greatly appreciated, my friend. All right. Okay, are we going to scan it out? Let's see what we got here. Even the shards are weird, huh? Come on now. Let's go. Boy, I hope they fix this before they go live, because this is going to suck. Taking this long to scan out. Let's get the ship position just a little bit better. I'm curious to see if they scan out here. Yep. Interesting. So these will scan out from the cockpit, no problem. But not from the mining head. Gotta love it. All right, let's see if we can get the verse to cooperate tonight on shards. There we go. Finally. Gotta love that Hofstede though. Look at that. Look at that optimal window size. That's what the Focus does. But you do lose a little laser power. So, but we're still plus 10 overall. There we go. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing scooped up so we can start, so we can go plan a bore max on that. On that quantanium rock. I might have to look at the resistance on that one more time though before I do. Love the server desyncs. Ah, absolutely love it. Mining's not that challenging, so we're going to make it really, really fun by just desyncing all the time. All right, there's number 2. That's 24%. Looks like we're going to break that one at 95. There we go. Loving it. Okay, let's get busy on the extraction here. Not bad. Not bad shards. 99%, 68%. Not horrible. 100%. And we didn't even put a bore max on this one. Pretty good. Not bad. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, well, you're gonna get a refining job going, and then they're gonna put out another patch before it completes. And that is very true. But I like being out in the PTU, a little bit less crowded, new features, a little bit few more bugs, but that's all right. Look at that. Beautiful day. Gorgeous. All right. 53% gold. We'll snack. We'll snack on that. 17, I don't think so. 27. No thanks. 39, 40% with inert. We'll take a little bit of that, I guess. It's only 2.35. %100% inert, probably due to the overcharge. Not the end of the world. There we go. We'll take that 81% though at 9. That's a big one. I gotta say, not a bad rock. Not a bad rock at all. What do we got right here? 4 points. We're not gonna even bother with that. 24. All right. 100% inert. 18. I just want to make sure we're not leaving any money on the table here. 32% at 1.58. I think we'll leave the rest of that there. All right, let's go see if we can break a quantanium rock tonight. And you know, it's funny because when I put the laser on that one earlier, wasn't seeing a lot of movement on the charge level, and it's only 20k, so the resistance must be absolutely... Here, let's go ahead and get around the back side of it here. All right, so what do we got? We have 32%. Yeah, that's a naughty rock. Let's see if we can At least bring the charge level up a little bit on this laser, and if not, I'll go stick a severe on it, and that'll solve that problem. And here we are with this no scan business again. I don't like how fast that was coming up. All right, we're going to get a scan tonight or what, universe? Let's go. It just takes forever for this to happen. There we go. All right. All right, first of all, yeah, we're going to get the charge level up on this. Okay. So let's go ahead and park. And let's put a Bormax on this. Increase that cluster modifier a little bit. Squeeze a little bit more juice out of this orange. And then we'll come back and hit it with the Helix 2 with the triple Riger C3s. Should make for a pretty straightforward break. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's get the landing gear down. No, seriously. Let's get the landing gear down. All right, there we go. One thing I always like to do, I always like to point my mole at the rock I'm going to put a gadget on. I was watching another stream. I won't mention who it was, but they climbed out. Went to the wrong rock. All right, let's make sure we have what we want. Yeah, we got Bormaxes, we got severe. Okay. Make sure that elevator doesn't bounce us around. Mm-hmm. That's kind of weird. There it is. All right, let's get this done before our mole floats off. And we'll just stick a Bormax on the side of this thing and call it a day. Detach here. And not even upside down. Love it. All right. Pretty straightforward. Looks like we're going to get the axial scatter going here. That should take us over the top. Maybe. Yep. Can we do a little better than 92%? Really? $96? We'll take it. Okay, our mole's bouncing around a little bit too much there, so I think I'm going to run over here and get back on board. But before we do, what a beautiful day. I got knocked down by my own ship just now. All right. So, for those that are wondering, the rock mass was not enough to bring down. It was not enough to cause us to have to worry about resistance. So instead, we're putting a cluster modifier on there so that hopefully the sub brakes will be a little bit more pure. All right, let's see. What's our distance from that? 32 meters. Yeah, that's fine. Probably back off just a little bit more. Pitch up to 15 degrees. We'll get the wind's picking up, as you can see outside right now. I'm sure. Always does. All right, let's go crack this guy. I'm liking that standard setup you got going, Humble. I really am. I'm gonna have to try that out. Ah, and we got a rescan again. Oh my, oh my. Okay, let's wait for that to happen, and then we'll get the party started here. Come on, let's get it going here. There we go. Okay. The optimal window on this one's going to be a little squirrely. And we'll just let that energy climb nice and easy. Really try to not inert a bunch of material here. And there she goes. Nice. All right. That was an easy break. With the Helix 2 and the 3 surges, we can break between a 40 and a 50K rock, but it's... Let's just put it to you this way. You don't want to do that when there's a bunch of server desyncs happening. You hit the surge at the third surge at the wrong time, and boom. I had a short up on the YouTube channel showing what happened there. Okay. So we're going to wait for this stuff to scan again. Let's go. I hope we don't have to wait on every shard like this. I don't remember having to do that with the gold, so. Makes mining in the PTU a little bit more fun. Come on, let's go. Come on. Let's go. The joys of the PTU. Gotta love it. We're just waiting on the rock to scan out again. I really don't want to have to try and break quantanium without a charge level indicator. Don't want to have to guess, that's for sure. There we go. Finally. Just one of those joys in the PTU we got to deal with at the moment. Maybe I should run cargo instead. Anyway, the good news is the hop out to checkmate's not too bad from here. So I doubt we're even going to get into our voltage cargo timer that much. All right. Now we're getting a purple indicator, so this should happen a lot faster. Yeah, 2.94. 100% copper. All right, let's go ahead and get the party started. Okay. I'm just going to scoop up as much as I can here. As long as I see that counter going up like right there, I do not. So we're going to stop extracting on that one. But I am seeing it go up on this one. %. There's those desyncs again. Yikes. All right, what else we got here? 3%, 2%. There's nothing on nothing under this, right? Just make sure. Nope, nothing underneath that. Okay, and we still have plenty of space left, so I'm just going to go ahead and snack on these as well, even though they're 2 or 3%. Just to make sure there's nothing underneath them. And that, my friends, is about it. So we'll grab a couple of these real quick, and then we'll be out of here. Let's see, 24, since we have some extra room left over. For those that are just joining, I smacked that gold rock earlier tonight. But I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room for the really good stuff, so we didn't collect everything that we normally would. Okay, Bexelite. What else? Let's get one more gold shard here. 100% inert, 18, 27. We'll take that one. We'll finish off on this one right here. No, I guess it's going to be the 18. All right, that's all there is for that. Right in time, too, as the sun's going down. Yeah, I know. I know it's possible to break 75, 80K rocks with a triple surge helix, for sure, but takes some skill, and a lot of skill and a little bit of luck. That's for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get checkmate dialed up here. And that is the first mining run of the night, folks. Nice and easy. Low stress. No big deal. As we head off. There we go. Look at that. Nice little view for everybody there. And if you guys don't mind, give me a thumbs up on the stream. That'd be greatly appreciated. Gorgeous view out there. Look at that. That, folks, is why we play Star Citizen. Look at this. All right. So it's going to take us to OM6, outer marker, orbital marker, sorry, 6. Then we'll hit another one. OM3. And there's checkmate. And I'll switch over to the mining SCM mode real quick here once we get into quantum so you can see that we're doing just fine on time. No big hurry. Very, very nice. And guys, make sure you hit that gear icon. I'm doing 1440p 60 instead of 21 because I'm simulcasting out to 3 different streaming services at the moment to test things out, see how things are going. All right. Beautiful. And there's checkmate right out there, which we don't want to smack into. Even for the PTU, this is a fairly busy spot. All right, a little bit of a torque imbalance. There we go. All right. we'll just pop up above here. Try not to smack into anything. And you guys are going to hate me here in just a minute because I'm going to do something that's really going to irk every miner in here. But So the refining jobs get wiped out on every patch, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but I'm pretty sure they do. The thing that doesn't get wiped out, the thing that does follow you through a PTU patch cycle, and I'll show you in just a second, is your account balance. So the money that you have in the bank, the money that you spend, it follows you through a PTU cycle. All right, so let's go ahead and get that stored to stop that volatile cargo timer. So everybody in the PTU starts out with 15 million. They want you to have plenty of money to test out all the features, etc., etc. And so as you go through the PTU cycles, it gets reset to 15, and then as you spend through the PTU cycles until the live release, that is, right? Until it goes live, it's just another PTU cycle, and this balance constantly goes down. So instead of just giving this thing away or just poofing it in a refining job, and I know all you miners out there, you guys are going to be like, man, what is this guy doing? But we're just going to direct sell it and replenish that balance a little bit. So even that little 20 SCUs is going to get me unrefined 347,000. So we'll just sell it all now. And in the PTU, that's what I do. So instead of worrying about getting refining jobs done and messing around with all that, I just sell directly to the refinery and be done. And that, my friends, is what we do. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to get back into the hangar here, call up the mole, and make sure that we're ready to roll. They do roll out these patches pretty frequently on the PTU. So like I said, that $15 million balance gets reset, but only, I believe, after they've rolled it out to live and started another PTU cycle. So, all right, let's get this pulled up here. And let's do a little maintenance while we're waiting on that. And while I'm at it, I'm going to turn off these tips. Hold on just a minute. Show hints. Nope. Control hints. Nope. There we go. All right. And there's our beautiful mole. And let's get our helmet back on here. And even though we're having the scanning issue, the bug, is it a bug or is it a feature now? Who knows? We're going to go ahead and head back out. You guys want me to go back to Monox? You want me to try Pyro 1 or Pyro 4? Just let me know in chat. I'll go wherever you guys want. Doesn't matter to me. For those that have not been on my channel, I'll just run through this setup real quick. So we got the Helix 2 with the triple Riger C3s on the front. We have the Helix 2 on this side with the triple surge modules right here. That is a beast of a setup right there. However, if you use that and that horse gets out of control, you're going to get hurt. So just got to be careful with that one. Not great for server desyncs, but really good for big rocks. And then the Hofstad S2 running a Ryger C3 and a Focus. So that's the setup for tonight. Yeah, we have HDR enabled. I'm trying that out. They say experimental, but the PTU crowd assures me that it's been fine for a long time. No major bugs. Sometimes when you see some of the UI bugs in mining mode, that's there, whether HDR is on or not. Okay, let's make sure that gas is good. We're repaired. Don't want to go out with another torque imbalance here. I really like the Love Struck paint, but they still, and I mean still, haven't fixed the bug where the window shows a bunch of wear and tear and you can't repair it. And not the main window, but the mining module window.
Exit protocols initiated. Please stand by. Final preparations underway.
All right, guys. So what's it going to be? Are we going to back to Monox, Pyro 1, Pyro 4? What would you like to see tonight? Where are we going to mine? Where are we headed? Look at those fabulous colors, though. Amazing. All right, I'm going to take a bio break. I'm going to leave you guys for just a moment. I'll be right back. All right, everybody, I'm back. Let's go ahead and I haven't heard from anybody in chat, so let's shoot for Monox again, shall we? Or actually, you know what? Let's try Pyro 1. A little bit further out. Currently obstructed, apparently. Just to give us a little bit of variety here on where we're going to mine. So we'll give Pyro 1 a shot. I don't remember if I was finding really big rocks out there like we do on Monox and sometimes on Bloom. So I guess we'll find out. Anyway, glad to have everybody on the stream. Let me know you're around in chat. I'll give you a shout out on the stream. I know that Humble's here. I was really glad to see Bexar Brown back. Masperia was around. I know he was hanging out. Really. These guys have been following me for a long time and they are greatly appreciated. And I'm really glad to have them on the stream tonight. So thank you, gentlemen and ladies, if there are any out there. Beautiful skin though. Beautiful paint. And we're going to do the same thing we did at Monox, that we're going to take the same strategy with Pyro 1. I'm just going to find an orbital marker in the daylight and then head on down. And that seems to be a pretty good strategy for me. Okay. And let's take a look and see what the rotation looks like here. So it is rotating left to right. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. All right. So let's get the acceleration up here, get the cruise control set. And we'll just head on down. It'll just take a minute for us to get to our destination here. And I think we're at max velocity now. Yep, 960. So. And so we started out on on Monox tonight, found some decent rocks, and now we're headed out to Pyro 1. And Humble's telling me Pyro 4 might be a good place to sniff around, so we may do that later as well. And we're simulcasting tonight, YouTube, Twitch, and X. And let's see where we're at on the rotation here. All right, we have some getting a little bit of friction in the atmosphere here, and looks like a beautiful day on Pyro 1. Yeah, we'll go ahead and slow our descent a little bit, get off cruise control so we don't smack into the ground. Get into scan mode here. I don't know, 14,560. It could go either way. This is looking like it's gonna not go my way. All right, let's see what we got. What's Pyro 1 gonna do for us today? Not much. Yeah, this is, well, that's not terrible. I feel like I'm not coupled. There we go. So a 28K rock. That's probably going to be the biggest one. $15 in Terranite. Not really wanting to snack on that tonight. Let's find something else. That is a 51K rock, but not anything I'm interested in taking home tonight. Like I said, these returns can be weird sometimes. 30K in raw and Bexelite, so not terrible. But let's find something else. All right. Okay, we got a 15 and an 18, so who knows? Let's go find out. I'd really like to see you above 20, honestly, but... a little more barren out here on Pyro 1. That's a nice size rock, but 31K in Laranite. Nothing worth getting too excited about here. Let's go check out the next one. We're not that far away. The only bad thing about Pyro 1, you're not getting a lot of speed out here. Must be more gravity. All right. What do we got? Let's see. Not going anywhere fast on this moon. All right. Well, nothing there. You know, it's my understanding we have a 5% chance at quantanium. Maybe 2 or 3 on Stellaron. Yeah, nothing here. All right. Nothing exciting happening on Pyro here. Pyro 1. Not yet. And even in the nav SCM mode, we're still getting only 200 meters per second. I gotta say, I'm kind of liking, we have to go check out Pyro 4 here in a minute. Okay, we got 15 on that one and 19. Okay, we'll check out these two before we bounce. Let's see what we got here. All right, give me something good to snack on. What do we got here? I need 2. I don't want just 1. And I want them to be in the 30 to 40K range. What do we got? 25 in Terranite. That's not terrible. $25 in gold. Not horrible. Isn't there something a little bit more exciting? $33 in gold. All right. Let's go check this one out over here. Small Bex rock. That's probably the biggest rock of the bunch, that right there that we just scanned. Yeah. All right, one more set. One more. That's a 13. Not holding on a lot of hope. What do we got over here at 5? Probably just, yeah. I'm going to bother even going that direction. Hey, Humble, you got to tell me why you won't mine gold, dude. What is it about it that bothers you? Oh, there's a 21.6 out that direction. Okay, we'll go check that out here in just a minute. Wow, it's a 46k rock and Terranite right there. Resistance a 9. But only a decent rock. I'm really tempted to go look at that. So we got 10, 16. I wonder if some of these were combined. Yeah. All right. So we got 167 SCUs and 23% of it's Terranite. Not bad. I don't think I can pop this one with the helix on the front, but we'll find out. So Monk is saying it's the price and the difficulty for the price. Yeah, I can see it. And let me just make sure. No sell status, really? And here's this nice little bug again. You know, I really don't like trying to crack large rocks with my shields down, so let me just go back up and make sure. I'm pretty good normally about hitting that the correct SCM mode and mining, but sometimes even the best or middle of the road dudes like me will forget to get back in the right SCM mode. Yeah, sure enough. All right, let's see what we can see. Don't think we're going to be able to take this one, but we'll give it a try. Wow, the wind's really blowing us around here. That is not the rock we were going for. Must be this one over here. We've already been blown that far off of it. Wow. I don't like the weather on Pyro 1. I just have to admit that straight up. Sometimes it'll leave you alone enough to pop a rock, and sometimes it does this. All right, let's see if we can take a crack at this one. No pun intended. Yeah, and I can see us moving already. May call it on this one. Look at that. Oh my. There we go. Yeah, and it's blowing us away pretty freaking quick. And we're not getting a charge level even at 36 meters. $38, $39. I don't even think I want to waste surge modules on it with the weather being the way it is. So let's head out to Pyro 4. I do not remember Pyro 1 being this windy, but yikes, Pyro 4 is a ways out there. Back to Monarchs. All right, we'll get into orbit and get out of the atmosphere, and then we won't be limited on quantum anymore. Running photo level clouds here. At least I thought I was. Take a look. Yep, photo mode. Okay. Another beautiful day on Pyro 1. Look at that. So for those of you who haven't been in the PTU yet, there's a little bit of a scanning problem. So when you're in the cockpit, you'll be able to scan the rock pretty quickly, but as soon as you get into the mining head, for some reason, at least for me, it's not cooperating. So it takes a while for the scan to come back so you can see where the charge level's at. So that's kind of a pain. All right, off to Monox, where we'll just pick a spot and start cracking. Oh, that looks like as good a place as any to me. Yeah, we'll just point right here. And let me just make sure before we stay in external view. Yeah, we're maxed out on velocity, so Off we go. And for those who are, for the geeks out there, we're encoding an AV1 up to YouTube. And then we're using NVENC out to Twitch. And then we're writing a source out to the network attached storage here with no overlays or anything like that. And that, we're using the onboard AMD graphics processor on the board for that one. And so we're using the AMD HW-H265 HEVC video encoder for that. And we're running CBR10. So really big file sizes out to the network attached storage, but all right, we are getting closer. Another beautiful day out on Monox. Look at that. Look at the colors. Amazing, isn't it? And we'll decel here in a little bit so we don't smack into the ground. There we go. So we're back to Monox. We don't quite have the gravity problem or the wind. Maybe it's just all wind. All right, let's see if we can find something to break here. $12,600. I'm not holding out a ton of hope, but I've seen these go both ways. I guess it really just depends on how many there are, and it doesn't look good here. See, I have my eye on a rock that I know Humble would hate to have to deal with. 132,000 on mass. All gold. Well, not all, but mostly. 25% gold, 68% tungsten. So a lot of gold in that rock. I know you wouldn't want that one. There's a 24K Bexlite rock. $30K. What do we got over here? $40 in Agricum. So yeah, pretty interesting right here. 132,000 mass rock on a 12.9 return. Very interesting. Yeah, Humble says he sees it, he automatically leaves. Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, we got a 14 out that direction, a 9 out that way, and there was one more over here. And a 21. Let's go check out the 21 this time. Actually, I'm going to check out that other. Well, it disappeared. Yeah, I've never been a big tungsten miner myself. Okay, let's see what we got here. Too many rocks. $26. There's a 35k gold rock right there that I'm not going to mess with tonight. All right, let's go check out this other one that we missed over here. Where was it? Surely it wasn't that one. 11,000 now. Maybe. All right. Hey, Humble, did they have any good mole paints in that resource drive that I missed out on? Oh, look at that, Humble. I guess we could take a shot at it. It's 73 in mass. I don't have a lot of hope I'm going to be able to smack that one though. But we'll take a shot at it anyway. I'll go stick a Sabir on it, and I think the end result here is going to be that we overcharge the rock and pop all the modules off the laser, but who knows? It's all PTU money anyway. So that one is 30% quantanium. This resistance is really nasty right here. 31%. The best we're going to be able to do is get it down to 15 maybe. But let's go find out. No mole paints at all on the resource drive? Man. What a beautiful day out here on Monox. Look at that. Okay. So we got a Sabir on us. Let's go ahead and get that out. And we'll pick a nice spot on the rock here. And let's let the 49%. Oh, this is going to be one of those. Oh, yeah, of course it is. All right. Fine, we'll find another place. All right, that's a little better. Starting out at 77. All right, we'll take 96. Okay, let's make sure we're in the right mode here, and then we'll hop into the Helix 2 with the 3 surges and take a shot at this and see what we can see. Keep in mind we are in the PTU, so lots of server desyncs happening all the time, you know. All right, so what we have here for those that are joining, we have a 73K mass quantanium rock, about 30%. And we got the resistance down to 15 from 33, so. And we're gonna really snuggle up to this guy. Get nice and close. And I'm gonna take max power to the shields. And the mining laser head, okay. So I do have upgraded shield generator, so when we pop this thing with the mole right on top of it, at least we have a chance to live. But we're probably gonna pop all the modules off, and I didn't bring a store all with me, so. All right, we're going to wait for the universe to catch up to us here and give us a scan level. And I'm just going to throw full power at it because I know I'm not going to do anything to it. All right, come on, let's get the scan going here. This is a current issue, I guess, in the PTU. It's a long time to scan in the mining head for some reason. And obviously we don't want to pop any of these surge modules until we have some idea what we're doing. There we go. All right, let's get the party started. So now we got the resistance down to 10. I'm assuming that's because of the minus 15 resistance bonus. Come on up, baby. Let's go. Come on, get moving. So close, and yet so far. There goes that one. And that, my friends, we got close, but not close enough. Almost there. I have a feeling if I would have been a little bit closer than 35 minutes, I think we're getting blown away from it, honestly. Let's see. Yeah, 37. Look at that. That sucks. But we came close to popping a 70-something thousand mass rock, right? And then the wind picked up and blew us off the rock. Just enough. And unfortunately, it didn't blow us into this rock. So we came real close to smacking that one. And if I would have been a little bit more efficient on the surge modules, we would have had it. So let's see if we can find something else. This one, my friends, is going to get away today. That guy's getting away. Yeah, and Humble, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get really super close, like 16, 15 meters, maybe 17 at the most, right here. I'm going to get right here next time. And we would have had it. Right about there. Would have started right there. Or, better yet, maybe done this. Scooted over to the side a little bit and then gotten right next to it, like right there. And then just turned to the right in the mining head and popped it like that. So live and learn. That's the way it goes. All right, let's find something else to pop. That was a nice rock. we'll head towards this 19,000 return here that's coming back, and then next time I head back to Monox, I'm gonna go down to the cargo section and buy a store all, and then I'm gonna put a bunch of surge modules in there and keep them on board. So if I run across a rock like that again, it's gonna lose. All right, where did our rocks go? We didn't pass them already, right? Nope. Yeah, you're not going to bust that rock without a little bit more skill, that's for sure. So just practice, you know. Came real close, though. And didn't damage the ship, so there is hope for me yet. Look at this. Can you believe this? Another 50k quantanium rock. And look at that. Another one. But smaller, obviously, but still. Let's see what else we got out here. I could try putting a Sabir on that 50k, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be out of the reach for the Helix 2 on the front, unfortunately. This guy right here. Yeah, because we're going to take it down to about 12%. Another nice rock that we're going to have to pass on today. All right, well, they're out there. Look at the colors out here on Monox. Amazing, isn't it? Beautiful sunset. Yeah, if that was a 30k, I'd already be putting a Sabir on that right now, or maybe a Bormax, and we'd be popping it. But 50k is just slightly out of reach. Even if it was like a 41, you know, I think I could probably take it. All right, lots of rocks to check out here. Let's go see what we can see. I think you max out it's dependent on the resistance and a few other factors, but most of the time you're going to max out about 40k on the triple Riger setup. Okay, 13. What is this big one right here? Oh, 37k gold. Yeah, we'll scan this one too while we're at it. Why not? Man, oh man. Okay. See what else we got out here. There's something better waiting for us. I know it. But see what happens when you drop onto the surface? and you're not near anything else, you get some good rocks that come up for you. All right, let's see. 15. This one looks a little bigger. 25,000. Gold is everywhere. You know what I haven't seen in a couple of days is Stellaron. I haven't seen any of that, but usually that they end up in the smaller rocks. I haven't found any 50k Stellaron rocks yet. Okay, let's keep on trucking. The sun is going down. There's a 16, a 19, and a 14. Let's check out this 16, and then we'll hop over to the 19, and then we'll kind of shoot over to the 14 if there's nothing there. Tin or silicone, huh? These are tiny rocks. Yeah, we're not even going to bother scanning the rest of those. Let's keep on moving. The sun is going down on us. We don't want to be around in the dark. There's our 14K. Turn right there. I think this one was even bigger. Well, a lot of them in here, but who knows? Let's see what we got. 65k Bexlite rock, not bad. 115k gold. A 52,000 Terranite, slightly out of reach for us. 114 gold. Wow. Big rocks. 215k gold mass rocks in here. 65. All right, let's keep heading into the sun. All right, let's see what we got. Ah, 31k in copper. A little FPS drop there. $54k Terranite raw, not bad. What do we have here? Copper. And nothing else too big here, so head into the sunset and keep on trucking. Gems. No thanks. All right, let's keep on trucking. What a beautiful sunset. All right, what is this hiding from us over here? That's an 11K. We're looking for that Goldilocks rock, folks. Not too big, not too small. It's got to be just right. And we may have to hit a orbital marker here in just a moment. We're chasing the sun. So Humble's saying that tin or silicone increase your chances of finding stiller on a resite. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, there's a 19.8. Let's go look. Nothing too exciting here. And that sun is going down fast. That's a big 57K rock right there. A lone obsidian deposit. I love those. 9 times out of 10, they're junk. But every once in a while. 22K Bex rock, not bad. The Star Citizen universe never ceases to amaze me with its beauty here. It's amazing what they've done. Okay, we got an 18 and a 21, so we're going to go look at both of those. Yeah, I'm thinking, Humble, I may have to go check out Pyro 4. May spend some time on that tomorrow, actually. Okay, these all look pretty... $23 in tungsten. More tungsten. Gold. I'm probably going to take that rock home, that 36k Terranite rock. Why not? Well, let's see if there's something else in here that's halfway decent. 45k in Terranite. That was going to be slightly out of our reach. And these are in the cliff. And there's a 25k Terranite as well. Look at this guy right here, just barely sticking out. I think before we commit, I want to go look at this other one real quick. Where were you? There we go. Oh, nope, that's not a rock at all. There we go. I thought we had something else nearby. Only a few kilometers away. All right, these look like decent size. 49. A 19k Bex rock. The rest of these look kind of no bueno. Okay. Keep heading into the sun here. Gain some altitude. I'm trying to keep the lights on for you guys. I really don't want to mine in the dark. All right, what do we got here? These all look pretty small, but we'll scan a few just in case. Yeah, I know. You've been telling me that for a long time. The dark is my friend. That's a 50k gold rock. Looked smaller than that, but I guess I was wrong. Huh. I think we scanned this one already. Yeah, we did. Okay, let's go over and check out. All right, let's go check out this 19.5. $38K Laranite rock. What else do we have in here? Copper. A 44. 38. Well, we might be able to scoop up some Laranite tonight. $80K gold rock. Not gonna be able to touch that one, of course. No, I don't think I want to bust Laranite tonight. All right, let's go check this out. More Laranite. That's a big Terranite rock right there. Another big one. Not gonna be able to punch through those. Not with the Helix. They need to be about 10K smaller in mass. All right, I need one more good set for the night. One more. Let's go see what let's see if this one, if the verse is going to be nice to me tonight. It tried to feed us a nice big quantanium rock, but we just couldn't pull it off. All right, we'll start with the one in the middle here. More gold, junk. Yep, these are going to be small. Keep on trucking here. 16 over here, and we got a 5. So we'll go check out the 16. We got to get to mining. Got to break something. Okay, there's a 28k Terranite rock. Not terrible. Gonna give us something else in this little cluster. Let's see. I'm guessing probably not, but we'll find out. Yeah, we'll take them. So we got a 27 and a 28. We'll take them both. Park right between them. Should be able to pop these, no problem. And just get an outside view here. There's one. There's two. All right, let's see. All right. And we'll just wait for this thing to scan. 51 meters at 20. I don't know. We'll see. We may have to move a little bit closer, but we'll find out. Oh, I just hit that one barely. Yikes. Come on. Let's get the scan done today, please. Come on, universe, catch up. Let's go. There we go. All right. Yeah, nice and easy. We'll pop them both right here, and then we'll go climb in the Hofstad and scoop them. I think one's a 27. This one's the 27, and we got a 28 over there, too. And we really don't want to overcharge, because I just have this bad feeling I'm not in the right SCM mode. So we'll take it nice and easy. Not get too crazy here. There goes one. And let's do this one next. Probably should have bore maxed both of these, but oh well. All right, off to the Hofstad. All right, and same thing as before. We got to wait. There we go. And look at that. Such a great laser for those secondary breaks. Really is nice. Look at that optimal window size. Just really nice. All the stress is in the main brake with this configuration. And we're just going to sail right through that. No problem there. I'm not even sure I want to break that one actually yet. All right, let's start the party on this other one over here. 100% inert. Wow. Definitely should have bore maxed that one. I just hate wasting a gadget on a 20-something thousand mass rock. Unless it's really a tier S. All right. Let's start scooping. The other nice thing about the Hofstad is you can really reach out and touch somebody. This one has lots of nice range. Really? Impossible? You're kidding me. I'm going to have to climb back up front to pop this thing? Really? I guess so. Oh, it's hard seeing in the dark, Monk. Not a fan. But at least we have this zoom functionality now. All right, let's go ahead and just pop this inert materials. All right. Now we can get to the stuff behind it. There we go. Boy, that one's a little frisky right there. No, you're right. I definitely don't mind in the dark too often. All right, let's see if we can move some of these out of the way here. All right, let's this one's just not giving me a lot of good sub breaks, so let's move over to this one for now. This one doesn't look great either. We'll have to break that one a little bit more. $24. We'll take the 43. Scooping up a bunch of junk tonight. But we'll have some Terranite that we can direct sell out here in the PTU. There we go. I'm getting old, Monk. It's harder for me to see in the dark. All right, let's see what we got here. Terranite, 18%. 18%. Let's go ahead and bust that one. Got a little jumpy on me there. I'm surprised that I didn't inert that whole thing just now. All right, let's see what we got with this one. Maybe this one will behave a little better. One thing I really wish they would do, though, is increase the speed of these scans on the brakes. Yeah, probably should have bore maxed it. You're right, Humble. Should have bore maxed it. This rock has not behaved well at all. Well, I guess we'll start scooping up 17% fragments now. There's a 20 hiding, at least. I guess that's the semi-bright spot in all this. All right, I think that is pretty much it for that. I may go ahead and bust this fragment just to see. But 95% copper chances are not great. Yeah, and that break did not go in our favor. All right. That is true. The more time you spend in the dark, the easier it is to adjust. All right, we have about 20 SCU left, so we're going to be a little bit less picky. Well, what's it going to be? Yep, it's going to be a fracture. All right, let's go ahead and pop this little one. It's about 52%. I say that, but we may be too far away. Yep. All right. All right, well, we'll scoop what we can. I don't think I'm going to move the mold just to get that one piece. That's all copper. All right, we're almost done here. $1.85. Wow. All right, let's go direct sell this stuff. We got 30 something SCU out of the deal. Not too bad. Could have been worse. So to recap tonight, we ran into multiple large quantanium rocks. We almost had a 70K. But we burned through all of our surge modules. We drifted off a little bit and I didn't time it exactly right. And that's the really important part with those surge modules. You just got to get it done. You got to fire them all at the same time. And actually, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. It's actually easier to pop a rock that size with the triple surge module setup than it is to pop a 50. And the reason is because the energy level will move up. The charge level will move up a lot slower on a rock that size. On a 50, it's gonna... I've actually lost more... I've popped modules off a mining head more times on a 50K quantanium rock than I ever did on a 70. So... The charge level seems to me to at least be a lot more manageable on the bigger rock. Yeah, there's more room for error for sure. On a 50, you really have to manipulate that that laser intensity level a lot more. So, you know, you can be at full power on the first surge and you can be at 3/4 or full on the second, but on the third, you got to move it down to half and really massage it. Or you'll overcharge the heck out of that rock. And if there's a server desync or the wind's moving you around or anything goes wrong at all, you know, on a 50K quantanium rock, then it's going to be a disaster. But those are the rocks that bring us out. Those are the ones that make us go out and do the mining. Yeah, and I like that Humble, using 2 surges and a stampede. That was actually the setup I was running with for a while, but I wasn't able to get into the 60, 70K rocks with that, so. But I agree with you. That's going to be what's in the store all, for sure. Run with some extra surge modules, a couple of stampedes. Have that on board so you can just, and of course a max lift tractor beam or even the smaller one, so they can switch those modules out if you need to. All right, there is our hangar. Look at that. Well, let's go see how much 30 SU of Terranite will bring on the direct ore cells here. Right? I noticed that, Humble. A lot of ghost watching going on. And that's cool. I'm good with that. All right, let's see if we can fix. Luckily, this is my home base, and I packed a bunch of surge modules out here in the Corsair, so got some refills. Let's go store it and see how much money we're going to make on the direct sale here. So, lesson learned from tonight: have a store all sitting right here, and put three surge modules in there, maybe 2 stampedes. Have a couple of mining gadgets. Throw those in there, and you can stick it right on the elevator and bring it up, or you can just max lift it through the entrance of the elevator here, and drop it. But have extra modules on board, and that way when you run into that rock that you've been hunting for, the 50, 60, 70K quantanium rock or whatever it may be, then you have extra modules ready to roll. And you just unlock the ship ports and go and put the new modules on. So that's all there is to it. And of course, when you run into that situation where you're on a 70K quantanium rock, put your mining head as close as you can to the sucker. And make sure your shields are good. Did I store the mole? I guess we'll find out. I think I did, but it's late. Yeah, we did. All right. So, unlike the quantanium, the 38 SCU of Terranite is going to get us about 132, and then of course the copper is And why are we direct selling? Because I'm in the PTU and my refining jobs will not finish before they probably roll out another patch or roll out to the PU. So anytime you're mining in the PTU, just direct sell it, and that way you replenish this 15 million that they give you, right? We started at 12, we're up to 13,146. So that turned out not to be a horrible night. And of course, anytime you can be in the Star Citizen universe, it is a good night, especially when you have friends like Humble and others online. So and I'll go over my setup with you guys real quick since I'm refilling anyway. So let's go ahead and get into the ship configurator here before we leave for the night. All right, so the Argo Mole. Yeah, I love the pyrotechnic. It is sweet. That yellow paint is really nice. I still think I think the Aphorite is probably my favorite, but okay, let's go to systems. So I'm running the armor, and only because I didn't want to fly back to Stanton to get the grade A, the size 3 grade A version of it. For the quantum drive, I do recommend the Hemera. Always go with a grade A quantum drive. It just gets you from point A to point B a little bit faster. And if you're out in pyro, things are a little bit further apart, so I always do that. And then for power plant, I don't know. If you want to upgrade it, you can. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. Maybe it gives you another point or two. But this is the important part right here. So we're running the triple surges on the Helix for the really big rocks. And as Humble was saying, if you want to pop a 50 to 60K or a 40 to 50K, maybe you run 2 surges and a stampede to kind of modulate that laser intensity a little bit better on the smaller rocks. On the really big ones, you got to have the 3 surges for sure. So that's on slot 3. So I'm running 2 Helix 2s. On slot 1, we're running the triple Rigers. The triple Rigers will get you up to between 30 and 41K. Anything above 41K, and keep in mind this is all dependent upon resistance and instability. But generally, it'll get you into the 30 to 40K range on those. And then of course the Hofstad for me on the brakes, on the sub brakes, really nice laser. I run the Riger C3 to offset the loss from the focus, and the focus just makes that window that much bigger and makes it nice and easy. That optimal charge window size plus 30%. So that's my setup. I got a YouTube video out on it. The only difference is I was running a couple of torpedoes here, but I didn't really like the shatter penalty on those, so I've switched them out and kind of moved away from them. But the torpedoes can be nice as well. They also give you a little bit bigger optimal window, but the cost on the shatter damage is just, I don't know. So I like this setup a little bit better. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming. Humble, Bexer Brown, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. Really appreciate it. Good to see you guys again. I'm streaming once a week and putting together another video as we speak, so I'll be releasing out to the channel. And I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. It was good. It was good being with all of you again. Oh yeah, and Humble said he uses a Durango, so all 3 lasers can be used at the same time. Very nice. So that's what he's doing on power. The Durango is, I believe, the industrial grade A. Is that right? So right now we got the grade C in here. So anyway, you guys have a great night, and I will see you again soon.